So I am watching an auction right now, very closely, for a vehicle that, makes no sense for me to own this. It's an Italian vehicle. It was built in 1958. It's really hard when you look at what was coming out of Detroit in 1958. And then you look at this 1958 Alfa Romeo Giulietta Sprint 5-speed. It's a little two-door coupe. And it just makes you wonder what was wrong with the Americans. Why couldn't they build small cars that look this good? But yeah, I've been watching this thing. I need it like I need a hole in the head. Why you want it for? Well, because it's pretty. It's just pretty. Can you make any money on it? No, I can't make a dime on it. I don't think. I just don't. There's nothing there. But, this is one of those vehicles you set up a chair, you set maybe 10 feet from it, and you just sit there and drink a Mountain Dew and look at it. And then you might change positions later, and your wife catches you doing that. She said, "Lenny, have you lost your mind?" And all I can say is probably. But yeah, this thing's up to, $37,500. It's got 16 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the auction. It was a 7-day auction, so it's been there a while. 50 people have made comments about this particular vehicle. That's one of the things I like about this particular online auction is that it allows experts and non-experts to weigh in on their opinions about the car. A lot of people just get on there and just say, "Boy, that's pretty," stuff like that. But some people actually have something valuable to say. One guy on this particular, more than one guy, said, "What is that banging noise when you turn to the left?" And so I watched the video again, and I heard it. I heard that banging noise. And then the seller gets on there and says, "Well, it's the releasing of the clutch. When I push the clutch in and I let it all the way out, it's making a little popping noise, but it's normal as far as I can tell." So 50 comments. One of the obstacles of my buying this car is, it's $37,500. That's a pretty big obstacle. It's probably going to end up just a hair under $50,000 if I were just guessing. And that's more than I'd be willing to pay. But also, it's in Newbury Park, California. Now, one of the things I have to take into account when I'm buying a car on an online auction is there is an auction fee involved. On Bring a Trailer, on this particular auction site, it's 5%. Now, if you're selling a car on Bring a Trailer, it only costs $99 to list a car. And that's why I talk about it on this program a lot, because a lot of people have cars out there and they have no clue what to do with them. And if it's a fairly unusual car, it doesn't have to really be unusual. I take that back. There's 836 auctions going on right now. 830 some auctions on 7-day auctions that are going on. And every day there's several hundred cars go off and several hundred more cars go on. I don't know why that was so hard to say, but it was. So it's a very active place to see what cars are bringing. If you've got an old car, somebody who has an old car. I saw it's like a 1996 Buick Roadmaster on there. I think it brought like $9,000. I don't understand why they put cars on the auction site like that. But anyway, we're down to 14 minutes. It's still at $37,500. Newbury Park, I'm estimating, California, just California in general, it's going to cost between, I'd say, $2,500 and $3,000 to get that car from California to here, plus the 5%. And then I've got to deal with the massive amount of consternation. "Why did you do that, Dad? You didn't need another car." That kind of stuff. Why won't they leave me alone? I'm old. I deserve to reach for the stars occasionally. Just like on Spencer's Mountain. You remember that movie called Spencer's Mountain with Peter Fonda and cast of characters? And old grandma sitting on the rocking chair. I think one of her grandchildren or sons wanting to go to college. She said, "You need to reach for the stars." So that's my excuse. I'm reaching for the stars. Okay, I'll be back here in just a minute. Okay, I am back. There's only 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes and 6, 5, 4, 3, 5 minutes to go. It's still at 37.5. Yeah, I'd probably give that for that car, but the 5%. I think I'm going to set my limit at 40,000, which it will bring a lot more than that, so I'm safe. But we're just going to track this as we go through this particular program. I tried to buy a Packard. There was I'd say that a lot of you, if you're younger, you don't know what a Packard is, but it was a very famous car brand. Oops, somebody just sent me a message. Yeah, it was very famous, and the cars from the 30s are absolutely gorgeous. Big, long noses, big fenders. Some of them are convertibles. I would even buy a four-door Packard. They're just classic cars. They call them the Rolls-Royce of America. And but it was big money. This particular one, if it had, well, I'm not going to say what I would have paid. I'd be too embarrassed. It ended up bringing $120,000, which is way over my limit. But you just really have to think about what's your end game? What are you going to do with it? There's too many people that decide to go out and buy the car of their dreams, not the one they're going to drive every day. You know what I'm talking about, the 65 Mustang or 69 Camaro or 55 Chevy or an old 280Z. What's the plan? If it's an unrestored car, when are you going to get it done? I mean, your life is busy as it is. Is it realistic for you to think about getting it done? Are you going to set a timetable? Is there a limit? We're down to 2 minutes and 56 seconds. There have been no more bids. It's hanging there at 37.5. Oh, be still my heart. But yeah, you have to decide what your end game is. That's what I always do. I've talked to several different people who have bought cars, and they went to a car show, and then they decided to sell the car because they don't want to sit out in the hot sun interacting with a bunch of strangers in lawn chairs in front of their car. And, a couple people stopped by and said, "What kind of engines got in it?" That kind of stuff. And they just decide not to do it. Other people, want to go drive it on the Blue Ridge Parkway until they figure out how poorly it handles, how unsafe it is. They don't have airbags. They don't have shoulder harnesses. Some of them don't have seat belts. 1 minute and 59 seconds. It's still at 37.5. Whoop, somebody just bid 39.5 now. See, what happens on Bring a Trailer is it gets down to 2 minutes. And then if anybody bids in the last 2 minutes, 39,750. If anybody bids in the last 2 minutes, it resets to 2 minutes. So it could go down to 10 seconds left. And then, boom, somebody bids, it goes back to 2 minutes. I mean, I've had cars really bring a lot more money in the last 2 minutes. And sometimes the 2 minutes last 20 minutes. So they're $250 from my limit. And I'm just watching. A lot of people are making comments. Aren't you just thrilled to be able to go for this ride? Whoops, I'm out. Somebody just hit it at 41,000 with 1 minute and 33 seconds to go. So, this is what I do. I set a limit for myself. And can I live without this car? Absolutely. Do I need it? Absolutely not. What will I do with it? Find a garage to put it in and get it out occasionally and drive it. That's what I'll do. And set up a lawn chair, sit there drinking Mountain Dews and look at it. So every time you hear that little diddle-it, that's somebody bidding. It's up to 41.5. So this is how this goes. So we'll jump on to another topic and move away from this 58 Alpha. Doggone it. Okay, one thing I wanted to talk about today for sure is I got the mail. My wife said, "You need to look at this mail." So that means it's stuff that she doesn't know what to do with, right? If it's bills, she knows what to do with those. If it's, cards and stuff like that, no problem. But if it looks anything remotely like business, it's going in my pile. So I got 3 of them that I opened up this morning, and well, nothing other than warranty solicitations. One was from a company called Sky Protection, and they're saying that their records indicate that I have not contacted them to activate a vehicle service agreement for my vehicle. This one is pretty non-threatening. It doesn't act like I've violated some type of a federal statute for not responding. This other one, though, it says final notice. And normally when you see something like that, you thought maybe you've forgot to pay a hospital bill or, forgot to pay something. In this particular case, this is on a brand new F-150 that I just bought. And one of the statements here says, our records indicate that you have not contacted us regarding the vehicle service contract on your vehicle. You are receiving this notice because your factory warranty has expired or, notice they said or, may be about to expire. Well, it's neither one of those. Neither one. And then this third one, this is the one, I talked about this a couple months ago because I thought it was so clever and so deceptive. You know what those little proof of insurance cards that you get from your insurance company? Well, they've got 2 of those printed on here. So I thought it was a card from my insurance company. No. This is actually telling me that I must call now to activate my cards for the protection of my vehicle to be valid. Now, if somebody, let's say less savvy than I am when it comes to cars and this kind of stuff, just a normal everyday car owner, they might look at this and say, honey, what did we do wrong? Here's our insurance cards. I need to cut that out, put that in the vehicle. No, that's not what this is. This is a warranty solicitation from who knows where. It doesn't actually say. It just gives me a toll-free number, and it says that I must activate this policy with a state licensed agent. So it could be an insurance company. It could be just a third party that places people with different warranty companies. You just can't tell by reading this. So what happens is you call. I wanted one of my salespeople to call. See, if I use my cell phone, that they're going to know who I am. If I use the dealership number, they're going to see it's going to say Gateway Ford on it. So what I'm wanting to do is record one of these calls and play it for you. Have a little fun, with the operator. But I wasn't able to do that in this particular case. But folks, you just, if you see something like this, and you will if you buy a new car or if your vehicle, well, you could receive it at any time during the year. If you own a vehicle, which you probably do, or if you take it in for service, there could be all different kinds of triggers for these. And they're just trying to scare you, and they're trying to take advantage of people who are not informed about this kind of stuff. And I wonder what their success rate is, in getting people to actually call in. I would say it's, even if it's like 5%, if you think about how many of these are probably going out every month, that's a lot of phone calls. That's a lot of people wondering, what the heck's going on with my warranty? How could my warranty be expired already? Oh, your warranty's not expired, sir. This is an opportunity for you to extend your protection on your vehicle. So if you happen to fall for it and you call, and when they say that, they start trying to sell you an extended warranty, just hang up and call the dealership. If you're interested in buying one. If you're not, then don't. If you trade every 2 or 3 years and it's a new car, there's no reason to buy an extended warranty or a service contract. No reason at all. But if you are a buy and hold person and you're going to use it and you're going to put a lot of miles on it and you live kind of paycheck to paycheck and a major automotive repair, which seems like all of them are major anymore, other than just regular maintenance, and that's getting pretty expensive as well. But if that would be a big burden on you, then you might want to think about it. And just like I said on yesterday's show, when you call in, tell them that and really you need to be genuine about this. You need to call several different places and see what they're going to charge for their warranty, and tell them, say, listen, I'm going to go with the best coverage for the lowest price. And I hope that's with you, because that's, you're where I get my vehicle service. Now, if you buy a service contract from a dealer, you need to make sure that it's good anywhere. That if you take it to a Chevrolet store, if you take your Toyota to a Chevrolet store, you're going to be able to get a claim paid. Preferably if you are out of town and you have a Toyota service contract, you will be able to find a Toyota dealer to take your car to. But if you happen to have, if there are no Toyota dealers near you and you break down, you're on the side of the road, and there's a little independent shop that can take care of you, then just make sure that the policy has a toll-free number and find out what the process is if you have to get your Toyota fixed at a Chevy store or at an independent shop. Ask those questions, because where you figure out whether a warranty is worth anything is when you have a claim. Just because you can buy this thing for $1,500 less than the dealer down the street quoted you, that doesn't mean it's good. That only means that you saved money when you bought it. And you may not know what you bought. You didn't read it. See, that's another problem. People don't read stuff. But you could pay anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 for a service contract. It all depends on what brand of vehicle that you drive. I can promise you, if you want to buy a service contract on a Mercedes or a BMW or any kind of German import, a Lexus, a Infiniti, lots of different ones have extremely high upfront prices because, it's extremely expensive to replace things on those vehicles. And there's so many people that think that their insurance on their car, just regular car insurance, will take care of some of this stuff. It will if a tree falls on your car. If there's some type of environmental situation that happens that damages your car, then that might be covered. The factory warranty is going to cover any kind of defect in materials or workmanship for a period of time. Most new car warranties are 3 years, 36,000 miles now. There are some that are longer. A lot of people get fooled into thinking that, for example, when you buy a Hyundai, they talk about their 100,000 mile warranty. Well, it's only a 100,000 mile warranty to you. If you trade that car in or sell it to somebody else, they don't have a 100,000 mile warranty. It's only for the first owner. We offer a lifetime powertrain warranty on everything that we sell. Not used cars, but new cars, new Nissans and new Fords. And people love that. And it's good for as long as they own the vehicle. It's a powertrain warranty, though, which covers the engine and all its internal parts, the transmission and its internal parts, the drive axle, the transfer case, anything that makes the car go forward and is wet with oil, it's covered. But all the other stuff, like air conditioning, cooling system, carburation, emission controls, all of that stuff, all the electronics on the car, that's not covered. And really, the most reliable part of the car is the powertrain. It's the other stuff that tends to break down. So understanding what your warranty is, I think, is an important budgeting process. It's important to think about and know and understand what you get from the factory, what is available in the aftermarket when it comes to a service contract, what your responsibilities are to maintain your warranty. That's critically important too. A lot of people don't think about that. They don't think about how often they ought to get their oil changed. And when you have a claim, that's when you'll think about it. Okay, I'll be back in just a minute. We had some folks that bought a new Ford Fusion from us, and they had a major engine failure. And they could not prove that they ever changed the oil on their vehicle. And when we looked at the valve train, it was quite obvious. It looked like a chocolate milkshake, about that consistency. I mean, it was in terrible shape. They had never changed their oil. Oh, they were furious as to why the warranty wouldn't cover their failed engine. And, that's just ignorance. really of their responsibility as a car owner, to properly maintain their vehicle. But your best insurance against any type of failure of a mechanical, it doesn't matter what it is, a lawnmower or a car, is to maintain it properly. And people do it when it's convenient. They go to the I start to say Jiffy Lube, but the fast lube place because it's convenient. It just enters their mind. So rather than make an appointment and take it to the place where they should take it, the place where they bought it, the new car dealership, they do what's convenient. Is that oil just as good as the oil the dealership will put in it? Probably. Is the filter as good? No, it's not. It's not near as good. Are they checking as many things as a dealership will check? No, way less. They're doing an oil change in 15 minutes or 10 minutes. They can't check everything. The dealership has a multi-point inspection form. Just about all of them do. They do a lot more. And does it cost more? No, it doesn't. Not anymore. I've seen the prices at these fast lube places. I mean, it's in excess of $100 in many cases to get your oil changed. You can get it changed for a lot less than that at a new car dealership. We offer free oil changes for the first 3 years when you buy a new Nissan or Ford. We want the customers coming back to get their oil changed because that gives us an opportunity to develop a relationship with them. Let them get to know us and we get to know them. And then hopefully when they get in the market for a new car, they'll come back. That makes sense, doesn't it? Well, there's a lot of things that make a lot of sense that people just don't do. And you'll learn a lot more about those kind of things when it comes to your car life right here on My Car Guru. And I'll see you next time.